With Radio Algeria International, you will not miss a single major political or economic event. Radio Algeria International, our voice in the world.
This is the English service of Radio Algeria International. It's time for the news.
The President of the Republic, Mr. Abdelmajid Tebboune, has presided over the graduation ceremony for the June 2025 session of the Baccalaureate in the Secondary Education Certificate at the People's Palace here in Algiers. The President of the Republic, Mr. Abdelmajid Tebboune, has received the U.S. Senior Advisor for Africa, the Arab Affairs and the Middle East, Mr. Massad Boulos. Spain has described famine in the Gaza Strip as a shame resulting from the suffocating blockade imposed by the Israeli occupying authorities for months and pledged to bring the aid issue before the UN. Hello and welcome to Radio Algeria International. Joining me today, my colleague Ms. Hood Sharfi. Hi, Ms. Hood.
Hello, Miriam.
The President of the Republic, Mr. Abdelmajid Tebboune, has presided over the graduation ceremony for the June 2025 session of the Baccalaureate and the Secondary Education Certificate at the People's Palace here in Algiers. The ceremony was attended by senior state officials and members of the government as well as the families of the distinguished laureate. The President of the Republic, Mr. Abdelmajid Tebboune, sent a message of condolences to his Russian counterpart, Mr. Vladimir Putin, following the crash of a Russian airliner in the city of Tynda, which claimed 49 lives. In his message, President Tebboune extended his sincere condolences, expressing his deep compassion to President Putin, the friendly Russian people, and through him to the families of the victims on behalf of the Algerian people and government, as well as his own name. Here in Algiers, the President of the Republic, Mr. Abdelmajid Tebboune, has received the U.S. Senior Advisor for Africa, the Arab Affairs and the Middle East, Mr. Massad Boulos. The meeting was held in the presence of the State Minister for Foreign Affairs, Ahmed Attaf, the Advisor to the President of the Republic in charge of Diplomatic Affairs, Mr. Ammar Abba, and Algeria's Ambassador to Washington, Sabri Boukadoum. The meeting was also attended notably by the Deputy Assistant Secretary of State, Joshua Harris, and the U.S. Ambassador here in Algiers, Mo Oben. In a statement made to the press following the meeting, the visiting U.S. senior official affirmed that the United States attached major importance to its relations with Algeria and aspired to working together to reinforce peace and stability in Africa.
It
is a great honor for me to be here in Algeria on behalf of President Trump and Secretary of State Marco Rubio to strengthen the partnership between the United States and Algeria. This relationship is of great importance to the United States. I reaffirmed with President Tebboune our strong ties linking Algeria to the U.S. and expressed our firm commitment to enhancing our relations in trade, security and other sectors. I also shared with the President Trump's vision for cooperation to achieve our common interests, achieving peace, defeating terrorism, securing our borders, and promoting fair trade that benefits both Americans and Algerians within a spirit of mutual respect and dialogue.
Earlier, the Minister of State in charge of Foreign Affairs, the National Community Abroad and African Affairs, Mr. Ahmed Attaf, received the Senior Advisor to the President of the United States of America for Africa, Mr. Massad Boulos. On the occasion, the Minister of State held a one-on-one meeting with Mr. Boulos before it was extended to members of the two delegations. The meeting focused on how to promote the Algerian-American relations. The two parties held the strategic dialogue existing between the two countries, praising the positive momentum of their partnership in several vital areas such as defense, energy, agriculture, higher education, and scientific research. The two sides also exchanged views and analysis on the main issues currently affecting the African continent, notably developments in Libya, Western Sahara, the Sahel, the Great Lakes region, and Sub-Saharan Africa in general. Mr. Boulos held the level of coordination existing between the two countries, notably at the United Nations Security Council, to solve, as he put it, some of the world's most difficult issues.
It was my honor to closely listen to President Tebboun's vision on the critical challenges facing Africa and the region as a whole, as well as the many opportunities that lie ahead. We looked forward to making further efforts together to address the challenges in the Sahel region and to working together to promote peace and stability. I would also like to thank Foreign Minister Attaf for his warm welcome today. We greatly value our ongoing dialogue as we work together to face up to some of the world's most difficult issues, including during Algeria's tenure at the United Nations Security Council. We share a common interest in a more peaceful and stable world. I also discussed with the President and the Foreign Minister the immense potential to strengthen trade cooperation between the United States and Algeria in the energy sector and across various other fields. This visit has been extremely productive, and I look forward to exploring ways of promoting bilateral cooperation for a bright and peaceful future.
Mr. Boulos was also received by the Minister of State in charge of Energy, Mines and Renewable Energy, Mohamed Arqab, to discuss ways of strengthening bilateral cooperation, notably in the field of hydrocarbons and renewable energy. On the occasion, the Minister of State stressed the importance of reinforcing the cooperation and partnership between Algerian and American companies in the hydrocarbon sector, praising the cooperation existing between the Sonatrach Group and Chevron, ExxonMobil and other companies. He also praised the exemplary partnership between the Sonelgaz Group and General Electric in the local manufacture of energy equipment through the Giat plant in Betna, the first of the kind on the continent. Mr. Arqab also highlighted the competitive advantages offered by the new legal frameworks on investment, hydrocarbons and mining in Algeria. In this respect, he reaffirmed Algeria's commitment to developing its mining resources, inviting American companies to seize the investment opportunities offered in this sector, particularly with regard to the exploitation and processing of mining resources, rare and strategic metals, through partnerships based on the transfer of know-how, training and the local development of resources. For his part, Mr. Boulos expressed his keen interest in strengthening cooperation with Algeria, highlighting the interest paid by American companies, notably to the fields of hydrocarbons, renewable energy and mining, both nationally and at the African level. The Minister of State in charge of Energy, Mines and Renewable Energy, Mohamed Arqab, is taking part via video conference in the 61st meeting of the Joint Ministerial Monitoring Committee of the signatory countries to the Declaration of Cooperation. During the meeting, the ministers will be examining the compliance with production commitments for May and June 2025, analyze the current situation on the oil market and discuss its short-term prospects. GDMC, which meets every 2 months, is in charge of monitoring the implementation of voluntary production adjustment decided upon in the Declaration of Cooperation and making recommendations to support the stability and balance of the global oil market. The Monitoring Committee brings together Algeria, Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Iraq, Kuwait, Venezuela for OPEC member countries, and as well as the Russian Federation and Kazakhstan for non-member countries. And now the Minister of Foreign Trade and Export Promotion, Kamer Rizig, has presented on behalf of the President of the Republic, Mr. Abdelmajid Tebboune, the Algerian experience in Saharan agriculture in the second UN Summit on Food Systems held in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Over to you, Ms. Hood.
The pioneer in Algerian experience in the field of Saharan agriculture was presented during a high-level meeting held outside the summit under the theme Saharan Agriculture in Algeria, Innovations for Food Security and Resilient Ecosystems. On the occasion, Mr. Rizig reaffirmed Algeria's commitment to achieve food security through a sustainable and innovative agricultural model in Saharan regions. He praised Algeria's success in turning environmental challenges into development opportunities and outlined the country's goal to make of the Great South a strategic agricultural hub. This includes supporting investors, promoting research and and integrating Saharan agriculture into a broader strategy for ecological balance, combating desertification, and fostering sustainable living in vulnerable areas. Experts and officials who attended the meeting praised Algeria's Saharan agriculture as a promising model for similar climates in Africa. Back to you, Mariam.
Moving into the situation in Palestine, Spain has described famine in the Gaza Strip as a shame resulting from the suffocating blockade imposed by the Israeli occupying authorities for months and pledged to bring the aid issue before the UN. In a message posted on social networks, Spain's foreign minister José Manuel Álvarez affirmed that scores of thousands of Palestinians might die of famine. He stressed that Spain was ready to send the necessary aid to the enclave, calling on the Israeli occupying authorities to allow humanitarian aid without any restrictions. The Israeli occupying authorities continued to turn a blind eye to famine in Gaza, which the World Health Organization assured had reached alarming levels. In this connection, the Palestinian Hamas movement's representative here in Algiers, Youssef Hamdan, urged for the opening of crossing points to allow in aid that he considered a natural right for the Palestinian people.
We consider the entry of humanitarian aid in any form a natural right of our Palestinian people to stop the humanitarian catastrophe imposed by the Zionist Nazi occupation. As for the airdropping of some aid over parts of the Gaza Strip, this is a superficial and deceptive step, a smokescreen meant to whitewash the image of the criminal occupation in front of the world. We believe this step only deepens control over what are called humanitarian corridors and represents a blatant policy of managing starvation rather than ending it. Therefore, we demand the opening of the crossings unconditionally and the removal of the occupation's hand from this humanitarian path and from the use of starvation as a tool of war.
This came as 14 Palestinians have died of famine over the past 24 hours. Over 14 others were also killed in the continued Israeli bombardments. US President Donald Trump and the European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen have announced a sweeping trade deal that imposes 50% tariffs on most European goods, warding off Trump's threat of a 30% rate until no deal had been reached by August 1st. The tariffs or import taxes paid when Americans buy European products could rise prices for US consumers and dent profits for European companies and their partners who bring goods into the country. European governments and companies reacted with both relief and concern to the framework trade deal struck with US President Donald Trump, acknowledging what was seen as an unbalanced deal, but one that avoided a deeper trade war. The agreement announced yesterday between the two economies that accounts for almost a third of global trade will see the US impose a 50% import tariffs on most EU goods, half of the threatened rate, but much more than what Europeans hoped for. And in Thailand and Cambodia agreed to an unconditional ceasefire with effect from midnight local time at the end of the peace talks held in Malaysia today. The Southeast Asian neighbors are ending hostilities following pressure from US President Donald Trump, who refused to negotiate a trade deal with them unless fighting stopped. As part of the ceasefire deal, military commanders from both sides will begin to hold talks tomorrow to defuse tensions, while Cambodia will host a border committee meeting on August 4th. That's it for today's news bulletin. Stay tuned on Radio Algeria International.
Welcome to your weekly program Destination Algeria. I'm Jamal Sameni. There are a number of great destinations in Algeria just waiting to be discovered. A curious mixture of cultures and influences, Algeria has something interesting to see in just about every city. The country is also the first largest on the African continent, so you can be sure there are plenty of towns and cities to visit. Let's visit Algeria's fascinating destinations, you and I, together. The small settlement of Jijel is located in the northeastern region of Algeria and is the administrative center and capital of the Jijel province. It is not a bustling city or town filled with nightlife and noteworthy tourist attractions. Jijel is more a resort settlement that does have a few important industries, but is a peaceful destination. In Algeria, where tourists spend most of their time relaxing on the breathtaking beaches. Jijel was originally established as a trading post that changed ownership from the Phoenicians to the Romans, onto the Arabs, and even fell into the hands of the legendary pirate Khayr ad-Din Barbarossa. Of course, most of the existence of these eras and the occupation by the French was destroyed by the 1856 earthquake that left nothing but memories and devastation in its wake. Today, the town of Jijel has a permanent population of approximately 100,000 that concentrates mainly on the production of agricultural products and fishing. Three larger industries, namely cork production, steel making, and leather tanning, have managed to flourish in Jijel. The cork production industry has led to the town being surrounded by vast cork tree plantations, bringing life to the landscapes. Another industry that has become vital to Algeria is the Jijel Tannery. It is the leading producer of furniture, leather crafts, and footwear in the country. Important establishments such as a mosque, hospital, and the University of Jijel are available in the town. The only noteworthy site in Jijel is the Phoenician tombs, located outside the town. These fascinating historical structures managed to survive the earthquake. Other than that, the greatest attractions to the town are the abundance of natural wonders, wildlife, birds, and the beautiful beaches. The town is mostly visited by Algerian locals who enjoy the peace and tranquility that is found there. Every so often, a foreign visitor will arrive to appreciate this scheduled getaway. Jijel can be reached by road from Algiers, Constantine, Bijaya, and Stif. The rugged landscape of the town and the magical opportunity to explore an area that has been left virtually untouched is an adventure. And being able to completely break away from the usual tourist destinations in Algeria and walk off the beaten track is a chance that should not be passed up. Welcome back. You're listening to Destination Algeria. This is the English service of Radio Algeria International, a program devoted to discovering Algeria, a fascinating tourist destination. In the second part, I tell you about Qalat Ibn Salama and Ibn Khaldun. The ancient fortress of Qalat Ibn Salama is situated on a hill near present-day Tiaret, southwest of Algiers, the capital city of Algeria. As a military fortress, Qalat Ibn Salama no doubt served the purpose of protecting the people in the area from foreign invaders. However, the historical fact that Qalat Ibn Salama is most recognized for is that Ibn Khaldun took shelter there between 1375 and 1379. It was during these 4 years that he began to compose his renowned Muqaddimah, the first volume of his book on the subject of universal history. Ibn Khaldun was a famous scholar, historian, theologian, and statesman who was born in Algeria's neighboring country Tunisia in the year 1332. Ibn Khaldun stood out among his peers as a forward thinker with regard to sociology, demography, historiography, cultural history, the philosophy of history, and modern economics. Ibn Khaldun anticipated many elements of these disciplines, especially relating to social sciences, centuries before they were founded or put into practice. This has led to many learned people considering him to be the true pioneer or father of these disciplines. Ibn Khaldun was born into an Andalusian family which was considered to be socially upper class. Around the middle of the 13th century, his family immigrated to Tunisia, where some of his family members held political office. Ibn Khaldun states in his autobiography that he was able to trace his descent through an Arab tribe, specifically the Hadramaut from Yemen, right back to the time of Muhammad. His family's high social rank gave him the opportunity to study with the best teachers in North Africa at the time. Ibn Khaldun pursued a political career as many of his family had before him. In the politically volatile climate of North Africa at the time, he soon developed the art of diplomacy, learning to intercept political changes and adapt swiftly to changing circumstances. His political skills, along with the good relationships he had forged with the Berber tribes, made Ibn Khaldun valuable to the North African rulers. In 1375, he was sent on a mission to the Dawadiya tribes by Abu Hammu, the Sultan of Tlemcen. He sought refuge with the Awlad Arif Berber tribe in Qalat ibn Salama in central Algeria. He remained there for close on 4 years, enjoying the protection of his host. He took advantage of this time to write the Muqaddimah, but lacking the text, he needed to complete the work. In 1378, he returned to Tunisia, where he devoted himself to completing his history of the word. Certainly, Ibn Khaldun's autobiography has all the ingredients of high adventure, complete with political glory, imprisonment, and exile. Should you have the opportunity to visit Qalat ibn Salama in Algeria, take some time to reflect on some of the history relating to the ancient stone walls.